Guys, you're looking at a rendition of what's actually on the bottom of Lake Mead, and that is the third straw. So don't go anywhere. We're going to get into it. I said that I would do a deeper dive into some of the problems that Lake Mead is going to be facing very soon. And this one goes out particularly to all of our friends in Vegas. So you guys pay attention. But it will have an overall effect on the entire desert Southwest. Again, the title is Lake Mead Intake Number 3, Mud Slurry Crisis. And that's exactly what you're seeing here in the rendition. But I do have the actual graphs and the illustrations to show you technically what's going to happen. So stay tuned. Now, I'm not going to make this a long, drawn-out, detailed video. There's no need to it. We've been through a lot of that before. But what you're looking at is the actual diagram of that third intake that's represented in the AI image for the thumbnail. And you've got the water levels here, and the top of it is setting at 1041. We're actually right now, guys, this information's a little bit old, a few hours, but we're at 1040 plus change right in that area. I think we're below 1041 now. And what this represents is the top of the water and then the distance down to this brown area, and this is the third straw right here. This is the intake going to Vegas. It is the lifeline of Las Vegas. And once the water's almost stopped going out of Hoover Dam completely, this will be the only way to get water. And that is, again, what Las Vegas is holding on to as a lifeline. But the physics aren't adding up. We're going to get into it. Again, here's the current water level. You come down through the blue area. This is the intake number 3 lips at 860 feet. Remember this. It's what, and the reason we got these brown sections here is because of what has not been calculated, and that is both the sediment layer that's now being verified using sonar and what's called the active delta mud flow. I will draw this up a little bit. But anyway, guys, so what we've done is lower the critical level of the amount of water that can get into the intake before cavitation starts. Remember on the thumbnail you saw this vortice spinning up, pulling the sediment off. There's a reason the thumbnail was like that. But anyway, because of this delta flow, and this is a very low estimate of what's coming down. I'll show you again an image of the Copernicus satellite showing the tremendous amount of mud flow. And again, this is using averages of a natural mud flow during the situation, but because the lake is dropping so fast, the mud is being pulled off the banks, and now it's a slurry mixed into the water itself. It may appear clean on the top, but all through there's traveling particles, and you can see it on the satellite images. But again, so what's happened, instead of you having this much water going from right here, the dark gray is the bedrock. Original 1935 Colorado River bed, 640 feet. Now, what are they? The sonar is indicating we've had 110-foot thick base buildup of sediment over time, and it's compressed sediment, and it's held down because of the amount of water above it. But as this drops down, the pressure becomes less, and the ability for this silt to shift and form the vortices that would pull up and into the lifeline of Las Vegas, that's the only thing you can call it, then that is cut down drastically. So again, this active delta mud flow, let me pull this up just a moment. This lighter brown area is an estimate, but and what they're doing with this estimate and what's there now, which they're saying is about 80 feet, is calculating year after year how much sediment and the silt piles up. But this is not the sediment and silt. This is the mud flow that is increasing now. And they're saying it's about 80 feet. So we've taken off 110 feet with sediment and another 80 feet of water that's available. Think about that. Think about how much is in acre feet of water. But anyway, so 190 feet is taken off that from the very base of the bottom of the dam. And this is dropping. 1041, we're going to be at 1035 before you know it, and that's going to shut down all but 4 of the remaining hydropowers. Anyway, going back to what we're seeing here, this being an estimate and not the real-time events that we're seeing on the satellites, guys. Now, what we're seeing, again, this was the official Southern Nevada Water Association graphics, guys, these sinking intakes. Intake 1 at 1050 is over with. You've seen that in some of the videos from Sin City Outdoors and others. They'll pull up there, and that one is out of the water. They're about to lose number 2 when it gets down to 1,000 feet. It may be before then because of cavitation problems. Then the final drain, because the third straw riser, that's what we've been illustrating, it sits at the absolute bedrock bottom of the canyon floor with its intake lip at 860 feet. It was engineered to be the ultimate safety net. It ensures that even if Hoover Dam hits a total dead pool at 895 feet and completely shuts down deliveries to California and Arizona, Vegas can continue to function as the last man standing on a stagnant puddle. Now, guys, they had built a coffer dam just upriver from the main dam at Hoover, that main area, and it was to basically block and divert the... Now, one of the other things I want to show you before this is over, guys, is this is a 2001 Lake Mead sedimentation survey, and you can see the yellow areas. This is the silt into the debris and things like that in the elevation. But right here, this yellow band was what was called the coffer dam, and it was originally built to hold back the river as they constructed the dam and divert it and things like that. But it's about 65 feet or so, but the silt now has overtopped it and it's filled in the gap. In other words, you had a rise in elevation here where the coffer dam was constructed, but now the silt buildup has overtopped it and filled in this basin behind it. So now all of the mud flow that's coming down into this very narrow channel of a very huge lake is now has a slick highway, not against the coffer dam, but it's built up on the front side of it and through this empty area. And this silt highway, guys, is going to allow this large amount of downflow of this mud called the delta flow to move right over the dam, right into the areas that we're talking about. The third straw areas, the low-level intakes on the penstocks of the 4 towers that we see, all of that. But anyway, just pointing out that some people have said that, well, that coffer dam will trap a lot of sediment. Originally it did, but it was already starting to get full before they realized they needed to build Lake Powell to slow down some of the sediment that was filling up Lake Mead. But anyway, that occurred, but now all of this has been overtopped, the coffer dam, and you can look that up. Google the coffer dam at Hoover Dam. You'll see some construction and things like that. Now, one other thing before I go, I want to show you. And it has to do with all of our friends that have the marinas here at Lake Mead, up at Powell, at Flaming Gorge. Shout out to all of you guys. Everybody's in trouble. But this was 2 days ago at Temple Bar Marina. And this, you've heard me talk about it before, but this tire wave brake is designed to be chained together and floating so that it moves up and down with the waves and stops the waves from coming in and pounding the boats and the marina. Well, it's grounded. You've seen the images before. Now, this is only 2 days old, though. And so these tires are no longer floating. They're no longer working as a floating barrier. If you get high winds, it will wash over. But what you're seeing is how fast it's dropping. And as it drops to the left and out into the main channel, it's pulling a tremendous amount of silt with it. Now, this island that you're seeing here was not visible on June 1st. Now, almost 10 feet later, this is what you have right there, and you can see it all across this area. And over on this side is a very narrow outlet that's about 30 meters, 35 meters, according to the satellite data, but only the very center is deep enough to where you can get a boat in and out. But it's only the small boats. Normally in this situation, and I think the National Park Service has stepped in and said, you're going to have to get all of this stuff out of here. You're going to have to disassemble the marina piece by piece, get the big boats out. But guys, the logistics are not matching with what they're asking. There's no way to get the big boats out of that narrow area on the right of this tower chain. And notice again how the watercolor here is like the beach in Florida when you just got sand that close to the surface. But anyway, they don't have the time to dismantle the marina. They don't have the time to get the big boats out the channel, and they have no place to move them. Hemingway, Colville, I think they're in trouble of their own in full. They're trying to figure out ways to get out of the same situation. So they don't have that option. Also, you cannot get the big trucks in there in that silt and mud to crane these boats out. So what we're going to see is this picture. And this is going to be part of the next video, guys, called Hoover Dam is Drying. We know that, but this is a rendition. Again, AI. I'm going to flag it as AI. That is the reason that I'm changing the videos on the Sumerian History channel. We got flagged last night because I did not mark a video AI, and it was only on the thumbnail, which everybody does now. But anyway, this represents the marina. This represents the tower wave barrier. And the only outlet, you can see also the bathtub ring. And this is exactly what's happening, guys. These towers are not floating. They're just a few feet from this actually being the scene. And you're going to see this happen as the Colorado River reclaims the valley, the bottom of the valley. Well, there's going to be a lot of things that happen. When you start to lose all of this water back into the main channel, all of that delta mud flow, guys, is going to be picked up now by very fast current and pushing towards the dam very quickly. But this scenario here, guys, is not that far away. Those towers are not 6 feet out of the water. And when we get to 1035, guys, in about 5 or 6 weeks, or much less than that under the current flow cuts from Lake Powell, then you're going to see this scenario. Now, of course, this is not a realistic image because it doesn't exist yet. There's not a camera that looks a month or so into the future yet. But this is very close to what you're going to see it play out here across the river at Colville. There's nowhere to go. The logistics don't work. They've been ordered to remove all the fuel, pump that out of there, take apart the marinas, move them out into deeper water, just like they have time after time again, except now they've run out of space. And again, the only thing they possibly can do and have the time to is to get the fuel out, pump all of that out so you don't have pollution moving into the Colorado River itself as everything drains. And you see all this silt and mud. That's a very good rendition. You've seen Joey from Vegas D-Tech walk down through these areas, and other people, and Sin City Outdoors, and lose their boots and shoes. But that's not going to remain on top of these rocks. It's being pulled into the drainage, and what remains will move that way as soon as you get a flash flood. It won't take much to move it at all. There's not going to be a lot of flash flooding going on that matters anytime soon. But if you do get one, all it's going to do is pull a lot of this mud right into the very intakes of both the third straw at Vegas and of the hydropower outlets at Hoover Dam itself. But we're watching it, guys. You watch it. It's a heads up. Be safe.